They say that money makes money. You might have heard phrases like money is hard to make, but easy to lose. Or the best way to double your money is to fold it over and put it in your pocket. Welcome to Alpha Investments, where we guide you to financial freedom. So how can you use the power of money to make more money without even trying? We've all been told since childhood to save our money. We know we should be putting some of our allowance into a piggy bank instead of spending it all on candy. And it's good advice. But the thing is, most of us don't start doing that until we're adults. And by then, it seems like we redoomed to a life of ramen noodles and paychecks that go out faster than they come in. However, if we had started saving our allowance when we were kids and let our money work for us, things could have turned out very differently. Let me show you what I mean. Let's imagine a kid who just turned 10 and got an allowance of $10 per week, which adds up to $520 per year. At first, he spends all of his allowance on comic books. But his mom suggests that he set aside $10 every month into a savings account that pays 1% annual interest. He's skeptical that this will really make him any money, but he trusts his mom, and so he agrees to try it out. Now let us meet kid number 2. He is also 10 years old and gets $10 a week allowance, which totals up to $520 a year. Just like kid number 1, he spends his allowance at first, but his mom tells him about the magic of compound interest and convinces him to save $10 a month instead. For the first year, nothing really happens because he only saves for 12 months. But after the second year, he starts earning interest on his initial investment. Now this amount isn't much at first, but it quickly adds up over time. So what happened here? Well, it comes down to something called compound interest. The thing is, once he started saving his money, it took off like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it was slow because he only had $10 to roll. But as the snowball picked up more snow, it got bigger and faster. And the same thing happened with kid 2. His initial $10 didn't earn much interest, but as his account balance grew, his interest payments grew as well. Eventually, he earned more from interest alone than he did from his allowance. So how exactly does this work? Well, when you put your money into a savings account, it earns interest. This means that you get a percentage of your total balance added to it each year. Most banks offer very low interest rates, but let's assume that our kid's bank pays 10% annually. For example, if kid 2 puts $10 into a savings account at a 10% interest rate, after 1 year, his balance would be $11. After another year, his balance would be $12.10. Because he not only earned 10% on his original $10, but also on the dollar that he earned from the previous year's interest. The third year, his balance would be $13.31, and so on and so forth. This may not sound like much, but remember, this is only with $10. If it was $20, kid 2 would have $24.20 plus 10% of $24.20 after 2 years. See where I'm going with this? The longer he continues to save and let compounding interest work its magic, the more his account will grow. By age 30, if he's kept saving $100 a month, his account balance will be around $76,000, assuming a 10% interest rate. And yes, this is a very simplified example. They typically range between 0.5% and 2%. However, there are other places where you can earn higher interest, such as investing in bonds or dividend-paying stocks. And even better, online banks tend to have higher rates than traditional banks. That being said, kid 2 still did better than kid 1, because he started saving at a young age. And even though both of them saved the same amount of money, kid 2 ended up with nearly 3 times as much more than kid 1. Here's why. Both kids saved the same amount of money, but kid 2 saved at a younger age. The earlier you start saving your money, the sooner it will begin working for you through compound interest. The snowball analogy that we used earlier is a great way to illustrate this point. Even if both kids started saving at the same time, kid 2 still would have had a larger snowball, because he started rolling it down the hill, while kid 1 was still gathering snow. Another reason kid 2 did better is that he earned interest on his interest. While both kids earned interest on their initial investment, kid 2 also earned interest on the interest that he earned in the previous year. Finally, we need to talk about the elephant in the room: inflation. Inflation is a decrease in the purchasing power of money, which means that things become more expensive over time. For example, $1 today won't be able to buy the same amount of stuff in 10 years due to inflation. So will kid 2 money be worth anything in 10 years? It depends on how fast inflation rises. If inflation averages 2% a year, then $10,000 today will be worth $12,200 in 10 years. In other words, $10,000 will be able to buy the same amount of stuff as $12,200 will today. However, if inflation averages 5% a year, then $10,000 today will be worth $6,140 in 10 years. Meaning $10,000 today is equivalent to $6,140 in 10 years. In this scenario, $10,000 wouldn't be worth as much as we expected. In general, economists believe that inflation will continue to rise. This is why it's important to invest your money. By investing your money, you can not only beat inflation, but also grow your wealth faster. As we can see, compound interest is a powerful force that can help you grow your money exponentially. The best part is that it doesn't require any special knowledge or skills. All you need to do is save your money and let time do the rest. Of course, it helps to have a higher interest rate, but even a low interest rate can add up over time. By starting early, you can take advantage of compound interest and watch your savings grow. So what are you waiting for? Start saving today and let your money work for you. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe and take one step closer to financial independence. Alpha Investments.